How was your day?
It was alright, and you
Yeah, my day was good. Burned the pot again today.
just oh.
Said I burnt my pot again today. Yeah, somebody would say go married and real life. Ah, no. But up is somewhere that we are only on platform. Oh, see, I'm already used to that intro. You guys see? That intro is already at the top of my tongue. So what up? It's your boy Delibi, and welcome to that episode of Contrast Podcast on Chakra TV. I'm Delibi representing Molitown, and as the ambassador, the host. He's supposed to be the one ruling this show because he's the moderator for today. I'm on Chakra TV. I'm the guest. You need to treat me like a guest. What's up, Mimbo?
Same, no difference.
What's up, Mimbo? I need cola nut, Mimbo, or
Or
AC.
send you wireless charge.
So what's up? How's the day been like?
Yeah, it's a Monday out here. You know how Mondays go.
Yeah, Mondays,
Yeah,
Mondays.
so it's been just indoors doing my indoors kind of things, organizing
Yeah,
my stuff here and
chasing
there.
the moolah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, been online most of the time though.
Mm-hmm. You've been online.
Just trying to. No, I mean like I've been online most of the time because you cannot really do much. It's
Mm,
true. I stepped out and went down to my 14, something which I've not done in a couple of years.
mm.
Yeah, I had something I had to go collect, and yeah, I just said let me risk it, and I went down there.
So you haven't been to
So
my
went and
14
got
for a
what I
couple
had
of
to get.
years.
Yeah,
Years. And my 14 is not far from where you are.
yeah.
Am I wrong?
So when I mean been to my 14, I drive through, maybe going to Limbe or Douala,
I mean
but like to
stopping
set
there.
my
You've never
foot.
stopped there.
Yeah, I have not stopped there in years. A place like
God
Munya that's been
damn.
like 4 to 5 years. 4 years about I've not gone to Munya.
Damn. So you've never for about
Yes, but
5 years
I,
you've not
I,
gone to Munya Market.
yeah, about 4 years. Let me say four.
Man. Hmm.
So I tell people it can get crazy out here, but you
Yeah.
should just know how you walk.
Mm.
Yeah. So I've just looked at the way things go. I rather go to places where I'm not known than to go to places where I'm known. I feel safer in places where I'm not known than places where I'm known. So yeah, some of those places where I feel like yeah. Yo, I can get you though it's not. Yes, but that that echo sound we usually have from time to time. The echo sound is on now. Yeah. Yeah. So as I was saying, there are certain places I don't just go to. I mean, I've been places in Boya itself, like if you know this Likoko area, certain parts where I just feel like yeah, you can really exist without this. Not like you can exist without. They have things there, but I one time abandoned a farm with hectares of crops on it just because yeah, it's safety first though. I mean, certain things can be avoided. I always say if you don't have a gun in your hand, it's pointless going to fight with somebody with a gun. That's just suicide. So I just avoid certain places not to get into certain situations. That explains my 14 adventure. If you were in Cameroon, you will not be surprised. So, Yeah. So I saw the Kang Quintus thing. I should put Kang Quintus, only Cameroonian artists who move. Yeah. So that's the caption, but yeah. I don't know about you, but I don't think I have much to say about the Kang Quintus thing. Though.
Yeah, me too. I don't have much to say.
I have something to say, but not much.
My sound is back. Yeah, but I don't think I have much to say.
I think so.
I don't.
So for those who might not have seen it, Kang Quintus was put on a list. What do they call this list? Is it most influential?
No,
Cameroonians who move mountains.
This in 2021.
So I would have appreciated. I like the title of that list. I'd have appreciated a list different. But for some of the other people on the list, when I look at some of the other people on the list, my appreciation of the list now diminished.
Yeah, exactly. That's what what came to my mind when I saw that list. I just saw the list and I was like, these guys have put their people on it again. That's how I felt about the list. So yeah, that list, it doesn't move me in any way. So the next thing we'll be talking about is, I think we'll just have to run through everything. All right. So the next thing we'll be talking about is the tax that they've given you guys in Cameroon.
Yeah. So I think I received that text message on the 1st or so in the morning. And it didn't make sense to me. The whole of yesterday I was talking with some people online, people in the diaspora. And I was still saying it doesn't make sense. But for someone who knows how Cameroon works from the policy side of things, it makes sense where this can be coming from and what's the intention.
So,
but yeah.
Explain.
Okay, so they are trying to tax the mobile money transactions. Let me just put it that way first, right? Yeah. So when I said, for someone who knows where this is coming from, we have a system in which the people in power don't necessarily understand how things work right now. So, like you can be talking to an American politician about TikTok, and you actually understand what TikTok can do for a politician.
Most of them don't.
And maybe Twitter.
Most of them
Trump
don't.
will tell you about Twitter, right?
Yeah, true.
But at least Twitter, though.
Yeah.
But in Cameroon, or like the whole cryptocurrency thing, somebody who's in charge of the economy in America would have paid some level of interest to cryptocurrency and how it's moving to inspire them to make some policy to ensure that, one, they're protecting the citizens in their use of the whole cryptocurrency thing, and then two, they're ensuring that the government is getting its fair share. Maybe recall what happened. I always tell people, like, that's why Africa is suffering now, because the people in power are not living now. They're still living in the past. They are making decisions for now and for the future. A future which they might not be a part of, and a present which they're not really fully existing in. They are the ones making decisions for that present and for that future, that's why Africa is in the hole we are in. So people who don't take time to read things are not in touch with what's happening, but they just make one young person who is in their midst. By young person in their midst, I mean somebody in maybe their 50s or their 60s. That's a young person. Comes out with, this cryptocurrency these young people are doing, there's too much money now. They're like, did you know the cryptocurrency has a function command? And the guy will give them some layman idea about cryptocurrency, and soon they start making policies around cryptocurrency without really knowing how the whole thing works. But you can actually see that they are making decisions from a very misguided point. Like what happened in Nigeria recently, where they suspended most of these fintech things. I think it was in August or so. Just because I feel like they were seeing a lot of money flying through that industry, but they are not actually identified how they can put their hands into it. As usual, anything which is successful in Africa, politicians want to put their hands in it. Maybe in the world,
the government, by the way. Because the government, anything successful in Cameroon, the government wants to have its own piece of it. That's why most of the companies and the things I don't register it in Cameroon.
This is an effort, like, mobile money kind of shut down Express Union
Yeah,
and they're
exactly.
threatening even how do they call these other guys, Express Exchange and Western
Yeah, of
Union
course.
guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure the government and even the banking sector is in trouble because of the whole mobile money thing.
Of
So I'm sure
course,
the
because the
government is looking at
government,
it like, this is how
most
much
government
you're
officials
making from.
own shares in banks. You understand? So
Exactly. So it's a
so
heavy threat to all of those guys.
to all those businesses.
So I feel like they're trying to slow down the mobile money sector, because definitely they will though. Because I was like, normally you should tax like what Rebecca Inonchong is saying. Maybe at one point we'll read what she also said. But you should be taxing the businessman. You should not be taxing through the businessman. By taxing the businessman, you're taxing the customer. But you don't tax the customer directly. So I'm assuming that they have been taxing MTN all through these years. Why should they put a direct tax now on the transaction or on the mobile money thing itself?
So
When I saw this, I was like,
okay, based on everything you said, it also coincided with some of the things I wanted to say and some of the things I had in my head. That before any company, because MTN is a foreign company that came into the country, even when a local like Nextel or when it even tried to set up that set mobile and all these things, tax was the biggest problem, the thing that made him close it, right? So MTN is in Cameroon. MTN has set up shop in Cameroon and has so many employees, so many things in Cameroon. So MTN is paying tax, right, for its services and the money it's generating in from Cameroon and all this thing. He already has tax that has been given to him. So now, when the government now, what the government is actually doing right now is he's receiving tax from the business and from the customers, which is not supposed to be like that. Technically, if you think about it logically, they are not supposed to tax the users of that product. You're supposed to tax the company. It's almost like I was talking with somebody and I said, okay, right now it's just like Dangote is selling cement in Cameroon and he's already paying tax to the government for bringing cement into Cameroon and all those things. His price tag included his tax already so that he can recoup the money he invested, makes profit and pay his tax and make his business run smoothly. So now when MTN starts saying, okay, well, if you buy one bag of cement from Dangote, now we are going to charge you this amount, it's at that point in time they call it it's lack of, they are taking advantage of the lack of information of the citizens of their country, because based on track records and things that have happened in the past, they've realized that any policy they just make or anything they say in the country always go, because there's nobody or nothing. There's a monopoly in the country. That's why there are no, let me just say, sometimes you hear the word NGO in Cameroon is somebody who has just created a group just to receive money or beg money from people. An NGO. So, but the main word for NGOs, like out of Cameroon, NGOs like the private sector, Cameroon has been prioritized in such a way that all these kind of sectors or all these kind of places, they involve some guys in the government. Most people who own some of these kind of facilities or companies in the private sector as those guys who still work in the government. You know, but an individual who is away from the government, who is not part of the whole machine, whole part of their chain, it's very difficult for him to own a real private sector in Cameroon. So this being, they want to get their hand in anything in Cameroon that makes cash flow, based on lack of information and based on the track record of them implementing certain rules, implementing certain things that give them the upper hand and the advantage, and there has been nobody, or it has not been contested, or maybe Cameroonians as usual will just grumble about it the way they are grumbling now about the tax, and they'll start paying the tax and they'll move away from it. Down the line, you see they'll implement something again, they might increase the tax again down the line based on everything that has been happening. To me, the only solution for this thing is, okay, something like Set Mobile that is owned by Cameroonians. They should start doing mobile money without paying that tax, without implementing that tax to customers. They will shut down all the other businesses. I mean, like Nextel, sorry.
I don't get it.
What I'm saying is, right now it's an opportunity for a company, because we already know Cameroonians are grumbling right now. There's a state of unrest and people are looking for the easy way out. They'll complain. If they don't find any easy way out, they'll still find a place, sit and start paying that money. And the government will get away with it. The way it has been getting away with it from the onset. So the best thing to do now is a company because you've already said they are trying to crack down or stop or reduce mobile money because they have shares in banks that they believe they are losing money to mobile money because mobile money is easier, is cheaper, is faster, It cuts the corners of guys going to the banks, and even now banks or Express Union is trying to create Express Union mobile money now because they want to get into the mobile money space, but MTN and Orange already have that on lock. So what these guys are trying to do is they are trying to increase the taxes on MTN and Orange so they can push guys back to the banks. Because I did not see that message from guys who were using Express Union mobile money. It didn't receive that information, that message. You understand? So they are trying to reduce the rate at which MTN, the money is flowing in MTN. And that's one strategy. The next thing is they want to make extra money because they know Cameroonians will grumble and they will still pay that money. They see a lot of money in mobile money passing up and down, like youth using a lot of mobile money. Even guys who sell crypto, they use mobile money. They don't use bank. So all these guys are looking at it and be like, man, I want to get my hand in that. So the government, because they own some of these companies that are losing because of the growth of mobile money, they just decided to say, let's put that tax in. Like, it's just, if the way Cameroon has been functioning rehashed, like the recycled version, it's the same way.
Yeah, so that's why, like I was saying, as you said, this might just get pushed under the rug. Nobody, after a while, people talk for some few weeks, and then people get back to their day-to-day life. Cameroonians are used to persevering and enduring.
Because policymakers, they already know that's how Cameroonians are.
Exploding down the line.
You understand? Policymakers, they already know that's how the citizens of the country
also, I feel like as Cameroonians, we don't pay attention to details like that. So you just look at your phone. If the calculator is 0.1%, okay, it's what per year, you just do your transaction. But they are pushing that now to, technically they're charging, but the consumer.
The consumers, user,
because the business will just push it to the user. They'll not do I don't see MTN taking any measure to incur or share that cost. It will just be pushed to the consumer. Plus the charges which they have been charging the consumer. So that's more cost for mobile money transactions. That might discourage people from using it. But I feel like in the system where people don't have that much of an option, they will still use it.
Some may still just use it. It's almost like increasing the price of beer. But Cameroonians still keep drinking. The price keep going up, they keep drinking. The price keep going up, they keep drinking.
How about
because the policy makers in Cameroon already know Cameroonians are too comfortable to a fault. When you push them a little bit, they will grumble, they will complain, but they have nobody or they have no solution for that problem. So they'll just complain and just fall in line.
But what usually strikes me is like, I don't know if some of the leaders or people making these decisions feel like they are living separate from Cameroonians, which is a very short-sighted way of looking at things, because when it's all said and done, your uncles, your nephews, your cousins are in that same Cameroon. If they are sick, you still incur part of that burden. If you have an accident, but at least they care for themselves.
Exactly.
I always use the example of politicians who make decisions and then they die on road accidents in that very Cameroon where they refuse to tar roads. Or when they die, they are carrying that corpse, their children are suffering to go back to a village that they did not tar the road. It does not make sense. I'm like, we are known for having policy which is not meant for us. So you actually see us implementing a policy which, when you think about the policy, it's like an enemy gives you poison that drink, and you're like, yes, my children, let's all go and drink. You are enforcing your children, like, everybody drink this poison. So it's actually something which is beneficial to some other person, but we are seriously enforcing it in our own country against ourselves. That's why I always say it doesn't make sense, but for some reason I feel like the people don't even understand. Because there are certain things which, no matter what you give to me,
the Cameroon government,
I cannot sign certain documents because it's like killing myself. So how can I take money to kill myself? What will I do with that money after I've killed myself?
Okay, understand this. Most civil servants or most guys in the upper echelon of the government, most guys in American term, they call them house slaves. Let me break down the house slave mentality. The house slave mentality is you're a slave, quite alright, okay? But you live in the house with the master. You eat some of the food the master eats, like the leftovers the master eat. So if there's rain or there's cold or the roof in the slave quarters is bad and those there feel like rain is pouring on them, even though you have families there, because you live in the heat and the AC with the slave master, you turn to negate anything that happens to all those other guys in the yard or in the plantation. Meanwhile, you're still part of them. Any day anything goes wrong or any day you step out of that plantation or your master dies, you realize that you're still a slave because they'll treat you like one of them. But they don't care. They are short-sighted because of the small-term benefits. I think that
can be applicable in America, but not necessarily in Cameroon.
No, I mean the government.
Get the whole house slave. They used to call them Uncle Toms and the rest.
Exactly. That's how Cameroon is.
Because you are living.
France is the slave master. Cameroon is France is a slave master.
But they're not living. So that's my point. They are not living in France. They're living in Cameroon.
Most of their kids are in France. Most of their kids study abroad. Most of them don't even spend most of the time in the country.
Things, but when those kids will be in France, after 5 years, those kids will come back to Cameroon to look for jobs in this Cameroon.
That's why I said they are short-sighted.
Their parents die. I remember when we were in Cyprus. Yeah. When we were in Cyprus, when we get insulted, that Mavro, it's like how they call people niggers or les noirs. When they were calling us Mavro, because in Greek, Mavro means black. I was always telling my friends, like, I don't blame them, man. It's a bad thing. It's terrible. I don't like what's happening. But I feel like if our own parents built a better Africa, we will not need to be coming here to do those things. And I was always telling some politicians' children were out there with us, and I was telling them, like, so you see this thing now. Your father or some of those parents have embezzled the money in Cameroon, ruined our educational system, and are coming to Europe now to go to school, and are insulting us as Mavro. Mm-hmm. But the good thing is, they're not insulting just the poor post children as Mavro. They're insulting all the black children as Mavro. Even the minister's child in Europe is also insulted as Mavro. He's also maltreated as a black, always a foreigner in that Europe. A good number of them get frustrated and came back to Cameroon when we all came back too. So they will still live. So it's a very, I say, it's a very myopic way of looking at life, because in all honesty, the Uncle Tom's or the house nigger was even better because he can even escape them living in the house. But a good number of these people still travel on these roads when it gets bad. The health system, when there's emergency and there's a heart attack, before they fly to France, you have died. But if you had sorted out the hospital system in Cameroon, you would have gotten treatment, you would have saved your life. When you die, your children are forced to face another reality back in that same Cameroon with us. So it does not make sense to be killing the Cameroon. But as I said, it's a myopic way of looking at life, and they feel like they are there, we are here. But there's no there, there's no here. Quand ça pète ici, là, ça touche tout le monde. Tout le monde.
But that's how they say it. And because they have their hands and their pockets, their hands in so many businesses in Cameroon, they try to create a funnel that control every source, every revenue, or they try to put their hands in every stream of income in Cameroon. That's why they increase price of so many things. They implement all those taxes. And that is why there's no private sector in Cameroon. I'm saying this thing. And most developed countries in the world thrive because of private sectors. Most of us don't know that. Cameroonians still have that mentality that they always depend on the government for every fucking thing. That's why concours, when they launch concours, you see thousands of people writing concours. Thousands. Because everybody wants a matricule. Because when they get a matricule, they can get into a position where they have the opportunity to steal their own. That's the mentality of Cameroonians. Okay? I want to get into a position where I can make my family good, or I can sustain my family. I can steal my own money, or the higher I go up the ladder, the opportunity I have to leverage what I have to take bribe or to save my own money. That's the mentality of Cameroonians. Even a doctor in Cameroon is going to school to become a doctor. His point is, when I become a doctor, I'll have like my own money, the money I'll be making for surgeries or the personal patients I'll be having because of the position I'm in, the money the state will be giving the hospital for upkeep and all these things, my allowances and all these things. That's the mentality of every Cameroonian. But every developed country, UAE, China,
Jig says, IKG says sub guys.
What's up? What's up? So, think of all the developed countries. They are ruled by. They are mainly held. The economy is held by private sector. What the government simply does is facilitate the things that make those private sectors thrive by, let's just say, tax or given the opportunity to open the headquarters in so many places, or the only thing the government needs to do is fix like roads, give schools. But the highest source of employment is the private sector, but it doesn't exist in Cameroon. Like I said, in Cameroon, somebody may say he works in the private sector is somebody who has opened something called an NGO, who he needs to use with that same mentality of everybody in Cameroon to receive money from people.
I feel like that statement is a stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Say that the private sector is not fully developed, but say that it does not exist.
When I say it does not exist, what I mean is it exists, but it's little or non-existent. It doesn't serve any purpose. It doesn't employ even, because the mindset, if the private sector of Cameroon was like developed the way you said it, okay, if it was developed, like the mindset of everybody wanting to own a matric in Cameroon would have been little or nothing. Most people in Cameroon would have been thinking, I'm going to school to get a certificate and get a job.
That's why, like, I always say that I'm not interested in like the complaining thing. I feel like that's the role we, the younger generation, have to play. I went to school in a system where like maybe 60 to 70% of the economy or employment was by the private sector. I was going to school in my MBA class, at least 80% of us had parents who had businesses where they were just coming to do their MBA to go and fit in their parents' business.
Exactly. People go to school for the knowledge, not for the certificate.
That's the role we have now. For me,
you see?
So me, I'm not bothered about complaining about the old generation. They're doing what they're doing, and I feel like there is that, how can I call it? The bigger scheme of things will take care of things, but individually we all make our efforts. That's what sums up to become the bigger scheme of things. So if we all engage in private, it's crazy, as you know. It's failure after failure, challenge after challenge, sabotage after sabotage by the system.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no giving up, because you're giving up, then what? You are giving up for what? So for me, it's for this generation to step up and know, like, okay, the private sector is the way out. A good number of these things we're complaining about, freedom of speech, political independence, it all starts from there. If the economy cannot speak, if the economy cannot push things, and a good chunk of our economy is run by subsidies and, how can I call it, foreign aid, that foreign aid comes with its own expectations. So that should trickle down in our in our political decisions or policies. So a good number of those things, I feel like, for me, the younger generation should not necessarily be complaining. We should just understand that that's what it is. Money rules, the economic speaks, humans follow, and we just live with it. IKGX is saying, sup guys, the government has understood that the global population is very ignorant and dormant, and they can easily smuggle irregular things without any major consequence. Yeah, I think that's what we have been saying here for a while.
Yeah, that's what we've been saying.
So the population starts to think and act like they're thinking. I feel like we don't even act like we are thinking.
We, like you said, Cameroonians, we are, let's just say, misinformed, and we try, like, the majority want to be ignorant. They don't want to know, and they want to be knowledgeable. They don't want to gain knowledge. The government also is smart, because when they realize that there are so many, like, if they discover youths that have grown, evolved mentality, grown and developed mentally, you know, to take that initiative and do it. When they realize that there's somebody trying to take that initiative, they put those rules and some things in place to break that down. I've quoted an example with Eto with Set Mobile. That's one example of it. When they realize that there's somebody who is trying to break away from that model, from that ecosystem they are trying to build, they do something to kick that out. Because if one person gets out, succeed in getting out, 2 will get out, 3 will get out, 4.
That's the point I was trying to pass, saying that
understand this.
Evil people will do evil things.
Yeah.
It's left for good people to do good things. They are just doing their own role. Their role is to do evil. We should not be surprised when they do evil because that's what they do. That's what
No,
they
I understand. I understand.
Now the surprise
what
is
we are
why are
doing
the
now
good
is
not doing what they should do to fix things? That's the problem.
no. What we are doing is what I'm saying is we already know that, okay? Because you said personally, or we should individually, we should try to do something to fix that. Or maybe if you fix your own bubble this way, the next person will fix his own bubble this way. Too many bubbles, that's what create the private sector, right? So
exactly,
exactly. That's why I'm building my own bubble, and I've created my own bubble. That's why most things that affect Cameroonians, I don't complain about it, or I do mostly don't complain about it. But seeing that I have people in that same system, that's why I'm talking about it. Because personally, whatever happens in the government, or whatever this government, what the fuck are, it doesn't affect me financially in any way. But I have people who still live in that system and they are affected by it. And you in the private sector, and if one person owns a private sector, you cannot employ everybody. So you just simply complain like this, so more guys like you can open up their minds or create their own bubbles. Like the more bubbles we create, the less power we give the government or we give the state. Yeah, I recall there was one time somebody wanted to tar when they hadn't tarred the road from Mbengui to, let's just say, Njikwa Angi. A Cameroonian wanted to do it and the government threatened to sue the guy, to lock him up. If he just did it, that's the road to his city, his village, his town.
Everywhere in Cameroon, you're not allowed to tar roads.
What does it? In the USA, you can do it. That's the road to your home. You see guys fixing their cities and fixing their towns, and they just give them the keys to the city and all that.
If we go down that road, Kali will surely just come and break my door and then pick me up by tomorrow. So let's just certain things, let's just leave it. How the government thinks, we should not try to set it.
You understand? And those are some of the things I'm saying that they do to make sure they have a control of everything. For example, there are so many villages down in Momo there that don't have light. The children of that town, they've gone abroad, they've studied how to generate electricity, they've come back to set up all those things there. The government come there and tell them if they try to do it, there will be in deep problem. That you should write an application or write a project, submit it to the government will read it, and if they approve it, they'll do it. You're using your personal money to build your personal town.
For moi, c'est pas grave. For me, c'est pas grave. Apply. If they say go and do a YouTube video to explain the project, do it. You always put those obstacles on your way.
The ambassador understands this.
Sabotage Etofis at Set Mobile. He has gone to Fika Food. He's fighting them in Fika Food. They will sabotage him there again, whatever they want to do. He will still keep fighting them. I always we don't have a choice to abandon. We'll just fight till you die, but at least you have played your own role. Oh
yeah, I get the point. But understand this. That guy, when was that? That was, I think it was in 2004. Up to now, they haven't still approved the project for him to just put electricity in his village.
Yeah.
So he will apply, he will keep applying. They know what they are doing. They want to send electricity there so they can keep collecting the tax for the electricity, and every time they feel like they want to increase the unit, they increase the unit and all those things. But if they don't have the funds to send electricity to that part of the country, that country will remain like that, will stay dark until they feel like it is time for them to engage or move to that part of the country, which is not good.
Yeah.
And that's the problem Cameroon has now. That's the way Cameroon is right now.
Maybe let's move to the other thing, the Salatiel tenor thing.
Yeah, I don't think I have much to say about that one. Are they working on a record, or have they worked on a record already?
I think maybe they're working on something. I saw it on some French blogs. Yeah, but we noticed most of last year, coupled with the issues tenor had, he has been kind of dormant. Yeah, so I think the French blog was saying he's desperately looking for a hit. So he has gone to Salatiel, because Salatiel is known for working out hits for a couple of artists. So he's looking for a hit, that's why he's gone to Salatiel. And I was like, some comments and people are trying to make it look like something is wrong with that. I'm like, some of the greatest names we know out there in entertainment collaborated with people. Yeah, so I don't see why it's a problem. For me, it's a good news. If he collaborates with Salatiel and then he gets a hit, that's also, it's not only going to tenor, the engine which is behind tenor, pushing tenor, is also technically pushing Salatiel too.
Yeah.
So for me, good news. And
to me, I feel like
the industry wins.
Tenor got lost in the whole hype and the Arafat train, and he lost his creativity. If you think about him from the beginning and after he released Dulodap, LVMH. After that, he got influenced by Arafat. After that, if you listen to his songs, they just feel like he's trying to mimic Arafat in all
the
those
things. He got
things.
influenced by Arafat.
He was a fan of Arafat, but he got
Well,
influenced.
let me break it down what I mean by do you think so? Arafat was under Def Jam 2, right? Tenor was signed under what? No, Universal.
Universal. Arafat was also under Universal. The same way we keep No Beats, they're under Universal too. Yeah.
So I don't feel like, because if he was to be influenced by Arafat has been blowing up for a number of years. He would have been influenced by Arafat even before he blew up. I instead feel like it's the A&R or the so-called music experts in those their Universal Records who tell him, like, people that maybe don't even listen to music and don't really care so much for music, they have their MBAs from wherever, and they have their large salaries. They become the experts of the culture, and they'll be telling him now, tu sais, tu vois ce que Arafat fait là, pour avoir un following comme Arafat, il faut faire presque la même chose. On fait les stratégies comme ça, they make PowerPoints for this, and then now the poor guy is trapped in that system of, he wants to be that great, and he feels like these guys can take him down. He has handed his career in their hands. And when they take him and go and live in the middle of the sea, they run and come back and say that le gars là, il est trop têtu. Ça qui n'est pas réussi. So I feel like it's a system, the machine which he found himself in that led him to that direction, not necessarily the influence of Arafat.
Because if you were the machine, like even some like legacy features, when he has feature like let's just say the feature he had with Young Time, that's not somebody under the machine. That machine doesn't play any part in that song. But his influence on that song, where you listen to his influence and the way he rapped on that song and the way he approached his song, he still did it the way he's approaching his own projects, like the Arafat thing. That's what I'm saying. He got too close to Arafat that Arafat influenced him.
So at times, when the machine tells you that, you know, you should be dressing like this, once you are bought into the Kool-Aid that the machine knows what they are doing, even when you're going to church or your grandfather's funeral, you still dress like that. Because now in your brain, you feel that it's by dressing like this that will become this. So he has bought into that personality, and I feel like
they already had a start.
I don't know
why
I feel
he
like
changed.
That's what I'm saying, that he believed that those guys would take him to the next level. Tenor was already as big as Cameroon could accommodate him. Tenor wanted to go Africa. He felt that those guys would take him Africa, and he was listening to them, and that's what took him there. Because the Tenor I liked in Nathalie, that's not the Tenor I've been seeing the last 4 years.
Yeah, because the Tenor I liked in Nathalie, Dulodap, Kabangondo, Deranger with Mani Bella. After that, it was just becoming a stretch, and the last thing I enjoyed from him was LVMH. I guess that's it. And it was a downhill when he left. The truth is, when he left War Machine, his sound completely changed, and that was where the connection he had with the Cameroon audience or the fans that took him to that position started fading away. The connection he had, he started losing it. Like there's something we call, I love Alain Parfait too. That song too was great. There's something which we can all recall from Tenor. Tenor was an artist that we believe he was the blend between rap and Bikutsi. That was the style everybody loved him for. That was his sound. And every time he dropped the song, Tenor was the guy who always do hits back to back to back because he used that formula, Bikutsi and hip hop. It worked for him. That was his sound. But now Tenor wants to do Coupé de Calais and rap, even hip hop rap, he's including Coupé de Calais chants in them and all these kind of things, which everybody is acting like, man, what happened to Tenor? You know? So the sound, he switched from his sound. Yeah. Because, for example, there's an example of un formule qui, on ne change pas la formule qui gagne. You see Malox. When Malox discovered his formula, up to today, Malox has his sound that every time he drops, it works for him. His market, he keeps feeding his audience, he keeps everything.
De la perversité jusqu'à la gare.
Not that, just the sound and the lyrics too. The sound. You understand? Malox has his sound. He calls it Afro trap.
So let me ask you on Deli B.
Yeah.
Do you think if Malox uses that sound and does a gospel song, it's going to be a hit?
It can't even work. Thinking about it, it can't.
Why?
Sonically, it won't make sense.
No, it can. We have seen Agatha Moses do Ndombolo-ish and all kind of danceable beats and do gospel.
Listen,
and people like it as gospel, but they dance it in the secular world as well.
No, sonically, it doesn't make sense.
Explain, break it down. Why?
Sonically, it doesn't make sense because when you're singing gospel to do a celebration that you have some sort of emotional or faith-driven kind of feel to it before even adding the lyrics of praising God. Because when you think about most gospel songs, they are the same thing being sung over and over on different beats and different instruments with different speeds, different tempos, and you can add 1 or 2 words on it that change from the general thing right from the onset if you listen to so many gospel songs. Okay, so when you go to the sound Malox does, the beats he does, singing gospel on that beat, first of all, you've taken away from the emotion, the feel, and that premise of it being a celebration or that gospel feel song. It can't work. So just say Malox, let him sing a gospel song. Let him look for like this let's say Darina Victory. What's this girl's name? What's this girl's name? I've forgotten her name. A Cameroonian artist, a gospel artist, a girl.
Who, the little girl?
Yes, the little girl.
What's her name? The girl whose father has
Indira. Yeah, Indira.
Indira. Yeah.
If Malox sing on an Indira kind of beat or kind of song, that's where let's listen to how it goes. It will flop bad because that's not his sound. Ce n'est pas la formule qui gagne pour lui. That's not his formula.
No, why I asked that question was I felt like the perversity of Malox's lyrics, it's more of the identity of his music than the beats. So Malox doing his perversity on another kind of beat might work better than Malox doing a gospel or an engaged song on his kind of beats. If that makes sense. The
reason I'm saying Malox has found his sound is because, okay, Malox have been doing this perversity right from this onset. Malox has done Nathalie. He has done Laissez les filles porter les mains en jupe. He has always been like that. But those things had not blown up the way Sasso Comme Sasso blew up. And after Sasso Comme Sasso,
it was a constant progression though.
It was a constant, understand this?
No, but même la bière c'est combien ici? That was it was not an explosive hit, but he hit the street hard though.
Mm-hmm. So you understand that? Okay. So you think if Malox do a song like La bière c'est combien ici right now, it will still hit?
Yes.
Because that's the sound, right?
Not the same thing because we have already heard it. But I mean, like if Malox does something about maybe on ne paye plus les taxes, tu dis qu'on paye 1% de quoi, on ne paye plus, he will sell.
He will hit.
Because Malox is known for those kind of.
But I know he has done a song. He has done a song like he has done a song like La bière c'est combien ici featuring Black M of Session d'Assaut. It didn't work. That merci c'est remercie merci. I mean the sound. You understand?
Yeah.
He has done that kind of a sound, but it didn't work. He has tried to deviate, move away. He has done Le Fou. Mon totem c'est le rat, parce que moi je cherche toujours le trou. He has done that trap. It didn't work, and he was still perversive on that one. That's why I say he has found a sound that works. He has even done Vita V. Mon ami Vita V, oh yeah, bois just nias. He has still been perversive and he has done different sounds. It hasn't worked. He has a formula that works.
Yeah.
The tuer pour tuer kind, the Sasso Comme Sasso kind, the on aimé par le cœur, that sound, that's his sound. That's the formula that works for Malox.
And I'm even sure that after a while, this sound will not be boring to Cameroonians.
That's why he doesn't flood the market the way he did it before. He gives room for guys to miss it and for guys to bask in the old ones he has done and for every other sound to play.
Last year?
On aimait
What
pas
did
le
you tell
cœur,
us
là
here?
où les gens mettent le bangala. That's the song.
Was that last year?
Yep. It was early last year. So you see, and he has a new one he will be releasing this year too, talking about what's that abbreviation? It's an abbreviation. Syndicat de bordel et de pute. What's it?
Yeah, I heard him talk about that one. I heard him talk about it on his life.
Yeah, he has a song for
C'est
that that is coming. That's the next hit.
Tout le Nathalie vont l'entendre.
Yeah, hey, until Mani Bella is already copying loss. Mani Bella is already saying, Malok, so I'm coming on your side. Before this thing hit, Mani, so many artists are coming to say, Malok, okay, on a entendu, Malok. On a entendu.
Let me read a bit what's in the comments. So, Ike Jig said, your ability, so he went ahead to explain about the whole government thing where he was saying, your ability to or not to abandon. I think when I was saying that we should not abandon, we should keep on fighting the system and trying to start up the business and build our economy. So he was saying that your ability to or not to abandon depends on your resources too. It's not easy to maintain that battle with them on the long term unless you have a certain weight, like a financial weight. I mean, a really massive financial weight. Yeah, I get it though. I get it too. I always tell people that at times I'm speaking from a place of where I am. I can always say that but just like everybody has a little bit of effort they can make, just that consciousness to know that you should not give up on the system. You should not, just always try to do your own things correctly or fix the system at your own level. But that level of investing or trying to create startups or empower the economy is not for everybody to do if you do have a certain financial stability. Yeah. DJ Jab say hi guys, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, DJ
Happy
Jab.
New Year, DJ. You lost like counterfeit. When that thing, if for you to fight the government, right, you have to be independent from them. Like use an example of Ito. I said he wanted to create Set Mobile and they banned it, but he's still fighting the government. That's because the government is not a source of revenue. He's not attached to the government in any form. He's not linked to the government for his resources. The only thing he can do is jump in to see how he can mix things up or reshape things the way he wants it to go. But if that doesn't work, it won't affect him in any way. He still has his life, he still has his family, he still has his source of revenue and other things he does. That's the best way, the best opportunity, the best kind of people to do all that.
I have an issue with that word fight the government, although I understand what you are saying. But I don't usually like to put that fight the government, so it looks like they're against us. I believe that we are the government. People always say, no, it's them, we are. But I always say, we all have our uncles who are commissioners, state council, judges. But when we sit and we are talking, it's as if the devil selected a group of people from a different country and brought them that come and control Cameroon. So they are the government, we are. Yeah. But I feel like we are all the government. So I rather than say that fight the government, or rather say bring change in the government or try to evolve with things. Yeah.
But you cannot bring
like
change
like
in
them against us. But change is like.
What I'm saying is you cannot change or infiltrate to change the government if what you're trying to do is linked on the result you get from trying to change the government. You can only try to change or implement change if the change is achieved or not, it won't still affect you in any shape or form. Those are the kind of people suited to do those kind of things. If the change happen, fine and good, because you've assisted and it has changed a lot of things, and then you can implement some things from your own end that will benefit you through those changes you've fought for. But your resolve or your livelihood shouldn't be dependent on those changes which you're fighting for. Those are the kind of guys suited to fight the government.
Yeah, I get where you are going to with that. There's another item which was on our list, but I don't even want to talk about it. I don't know about you. The 237 thing about Koi Langwe.
Nah, I ain't talking about that.
Huh?
I don't even know who he is.
Okay. Yeah, I know who he is, but there are certain topics that don't just interest me like that. And I feel like, It's not really my business like that.
Yeah, I don't know who he is.
The next
And
thing is a
also,
comment from Professor. Yeah.
yeah, read. If you want to read a comment,
Also,
you can. No, you can read it and then we move
okay.
forward.
Okay, the next thing is a comment from Professor Georges Mignem. Trouvez-vous normal que Fally Ipupa inaugure la CAN 2021 du Cameroun par un méga concert le 8 janvier au Palais du Sport?
That's bollocks. Those are one of the problems we are supposed to be fighting for, and that's one of the things I'm complaining about. Samuel Eto'o is okay. He came in there to make change, right? And these are the kind of things he's supposed to be part of. And the reason he's bringing Fally Ipupa there, he may have a reason. He may think that doing this may boost the reputation of Cameroon football. That's also one way to think of it, because Fally Ipupa is a mega star. But on the other hand, he's friends with Fally Ipupa, so that can also act as an incentive for him to pay Fally or bring Fally for that purpose. That's another thing. He's a very close friend with Fally. And the third thing is, and that's a downside. The first one I said that's an upside. The next one that's a downside, and the third one which is supposed to be an upside is if he gave that show to somebody like a Malox. Don't you think that thing would have been explosive?
I don't understand. What have been explosive? If what?
Because they are inaugurating the African Nation Cup, right? That's where they're launching the opening ceremony. The artists will perform there, right? And you want to open it up with a bang. Like you want the opening day to be filled up. You want it to be explosive. You want it to be filled with energy and all these things. That's the whole idea of the opening ceremony. And artists will perform there. That's why you pay artists to come there and perform there, or you bring big stars. He's paying Fally Ipupa because one, Fally Ipupa has that star power, but Fally, the economy and the money from Feka Food, which is from Cameroon, is going to Congo, to Fally. If he had
but he said something like, don't you
think if he had paid Malox, somebody like a Malox, or three artists, Malox, let's just say Kosi, or a Jovi or Stanley, the four of them, to do that ceremony, don't you think this outcome would have been so explosive too?
I don't think so.
No.
So if he
had used somebody like a Lady Pons, Coco Ajante, Malox, this kind of artist, that thing would have been very explosive. Trust me.
Let me explain. I think it will be explosive like a concert, but it might not serve the purpose as an inauguration of the CAN.
Why?
So I always say we should not. Anyway, fans will always be fans. But I'll not be talking most of the time here like just a fan. At times I'll talk as a fan, at times I'll talk as somebody who is looking at things from behind the scene, who has organized things too.
Yeah.
From a patriotic point of view, I wish that we had an artist who had the magnitude to be able to bring that kind of light in Cameroon. So, and that's why I think most of the church I always complain like, till 2050, I blame Stanley and Jovi for some of the mishaps of this generation entertainment-wise because they not take it to the African level. Meanwhile, all the other countries, we have seen Calligraph Jones take it to the African level. We have seen Nasty C and what's this other guy's name? Casper Nyovest and AKA take it to the African level. We have seen Burna Boy, Whiskey, Davido take it to the global level even after conquering Africa. We have seen, what's his name? Ali Sarkodie, if borderline not Shatta Wale, take it to the African level and even partially to the global level. But Fally Ipupa, I've seen Fally Ipupa take it to the global level. But for Cameroon, we got a little bit of African fame and we got so satisfied with ourselves and started doing all the over extras and not focusing on the growth curve as we ought to. So if we have not yet built a star with an African reputation, I'm sorry, we cannot use him for an African magnitude event. If South Africa is doing something and they have an AKA, they'll bring him. Otherwise, they brought a Burna Boy, I think it was Two-Face, and I think it was R. Kelly or so, but they are World Cup people. I've forgotten the brought. But it was not just South Africans. If you are big enough to have a star who can run something, so Yeah, I think it was Dibanj. Okay, when you were here, I think it was Dibanj was looking for here. So if you have somebody who is big enough, African magnitude things, we use him, but if we don't, we have to get somebody from outside. It's a business, it's about strategy, it's about getting the, so money does not come from gate fee and those things.
Mm-hmm.
Part of it will come, but I'm sure that endorsements endorsements are at stake here. Those people coming with their endorsements are looking at Africa, not looking at Cameroon. There are media houses and TV stations who will pay whatever exclusive rights.
Licensing
they're not looking at Cameroon, they're looking at Africa. Yeah, they're looking at Africa. So when those people are coming, they want people who can satisfy the African audience. You put Malox. How many people in Africa know Malox? So you satisfy the Cameroonian audience and board the rest of Africa.
What you don't understand is the host country, we have to show them what we have in the country. That's the whole event, because eyes are already on that event because of the event. Sport, soccer, the biggest sport in the world. Cameroon is hosting the biggest event in Africa. So what does Cameroon have? What can Cameroon show up, present to Africa? That's the opportunity. That's the reason why they are host. When you're host,
should be something worth an African weight talent.
No. What do you mean worth African weight talent? Explain that. Just explain.
We cannot just take who can I even call? We cannot just take a celebrity from Boya because they are popular in Boya and the event is in Boya. And we know that if we put them.
No. The term, the way you said it, the way you used it, you said African-based talent. I don't understand what you mean by that. Do you mean the quality of music Cameroon produce? Wait.
I said African weight.
Okay. What African weight talent? What do you mean? Is it that the quality of Cameroon music is not enough?
It's a word I've coined to say a talent which at least is recognized by 1/3 of Africa.
So that's where we still fall short. That's where we don't understand each other. What I'm saying is talent which can be recognized by Africa. The reason why this competition is hosted in all these countries is because, and that's why they apply to host these competitions, is because they want to use the light that sport as a whole has, that event, because the World Cup, that's the whole reason for it, the World Cup, that event. They want to use the light that event has to explore or to expose some of the things they have in their country to Africa.
Felipe, I agree with you. That's from
exactly.
The patriotic
So understand.
point.
No, it's not like a patriotic. That's a reason.
Endorsement guy paying his endorsement money to come and shine the light on Cameroon.
Understand this. You still don't get it. The sport as a whole, right, is an African event. An endorsement person who wants to partner or he wants to do that thing with the sport, he already knows that everybody in Africa is watching the sport because they want to watch their team and how their team will perform. But the team is hosted in in Cameroon. You understand? Cameroon, the reason you can use Fally Ipupa maybe because you want guys from France to watch it, or maybe guys from Belgium to watch it. I get your point, but the sport already is the biggest event in Africa. And the reason why countries apply to host that competition is to expose what they already have in their country to the rest of Africa. So Africa can know, oh, these guys have this, these guys have this, these guys have this. Yes, Fally Ipupa can perform, but he should not be the opener. The same way Franco opened up the African Nation Cup but
who should be the opener?
Listen.
Because
I told you already.
To show that we don't have anybody who has that weight, you were mentioning about 4 artists to suggest that why do you not take that money and give these parties? Call one artist who can be the opener.
No. One person, Coco Ajante, can do it. Lady Pons can do it.
Coco Ajante, I will not even want you to watch Coco Ajante. Coco Ajante, fait quoi? How many people
listen, you are talking about magnitude of those artists and the kind of ambience they will bring to the excitement, the culture, the things they will expose to Africa, and how the event will turn out. And you know, on the opening day, the opening event, there will be Cameroonians in that stadium, and they respond. Understand how shows blow up.
Want people to watch, right?
No, understand how shows blow up. Understand how shows blow up. This one thing most people may be overlooking so many things. The way shows, events, artists, and acts blow up is the way the crowd view how the people they are related to react to them. If a Lady Pons and a Coco Ajante, if those two ladies have a performance in that stadium on that day on the launching, what the world will see.
As a TV station, once I put on the TV and I see that showing me somebody, maybe I remember like there was one show here in Cameroon where they brought a certain girl singing. She was having a good vocal. from Burkina Faso, I tune off.
Understand
I
this.
don't have time to. If you were that good, I should have heard your name before now somewhere in some featuring.
No, but you
so
know.
Once the TV
understand
sees,
this.
because there are all those things which can measure how many people are watching. You realize that 3,000 people have tuned off because of the choice of artists you have made. They have failed.
What I'm saying is, the reason shows blow up, okay, the reason events blow up, even the Whiskey O2 event. Do you think if that show, okay, those guys went there who are Nigerians, they went there to see Whiskey perform. If that show, the songs Whiskey performed that day were new songs which those guys don't know, do you think those fans watching him sing that song without them knowing the words to the song to keep that energy and sing along with him? Do you think it would have had the same impact on blogs, like Western blogs, when they want to relay or talk about that same event? Because the highlights and most of the things they use, they use the highlights between the interaction between the artist on stage and the audience. That's why they use those parts of the show where you hear the fans singing, or they turn off the music and you hear the fans just screaming and singing. Those are the kind of things that make events and shows blow up.
This is way different though.
That's the reason for this event, like because the whole of Africa is watching.
Wait. I want to just say there is a difference between the Whiskey event and an African Nation Cup. Because the Whiskey event, whoever is investing in that thing is investing in Whiskey.
Exactly.
And whoever is investing in this thing is not investing in Fally Ipupa. He's investing in the Kang and the Kang experience. How can we make this Kang experience worthwhile for the Africans watching and the world at large?
And what's the Kang experience?
So it's not about Fally Ipupa, it's about the Kang experience.
What's the Kang experience? Is it soccer? Is it football?
I don't feel like the Kang experience will be interesting to. Not necessarily. No, it starts from the inauguration of the event. It does not end. It does not just start about the football.
Okay.
It's true, football is the main thing, but I feel like if I lose interest from the beginning, I might as well lose even some of the games, because I'm like, those guys are not serious.
You can't lose some of the games because your country, you already have emotional investment in that competition your country is playing. That's the whole reason why you're tuning on the TV. You already have an emotional investment into that competition already. Sometimes even personal and financial investment. Okay, sometimes even your financial investment.
Yeah.
Because some people bet, some people
but the
say,
inauguration
understand.
itself,
so
they want people to watch the inauguration too.
So, and they want people to watch the inauguration. And sometimes when they say the opening of the World Cup or the opening of Euro or the opening of this, when they want to say, okay, this one was the best this year or this year or this year, they go from the way the event was done and the feedback it had with the audience on the field. That translated to the screen when they go back, when they want to watch all those things.
Let's read some of the comments. So DJ Jab said, have you guys watched the video of Senior Pastor, the comedian, talking about Siwa International? How he's always criticizing and it's not helping. The AFCON is African, not Cameroon. Fally is okay. Thank you. That's exactly what I'm trying to say too. IK Jigs is saying, during the CAN last year, Malox was the one who opened up, and I don't think he had the international star power to enable it make rounds. There is support your own, but there's also the need for star power on an international stage. Massa, we know fit compare Fally with all our guys here now. Come on. Daily B, that formula works more for a concert, and this thing is not a concert. CAF needs to sell its event even beyond Africa, and that's why Fally is the selling point for a performance. Not only that, but I am not very sure there are many Cameroonian artists who are more popular in Cameroon than Fally. Thank you. I mean, I think that we should respond to most of these comments because,
So read them one at a time so I can respond to them, because I know they are talking about it's an African event, it's not a Cameroon event, right?
Yeah. So that's what first, like what DJ Jab said, from what I don't know if you watched it, what Senior Pastor said, but I watched it where he was replying to see what I was saying.
No,
at times, in an effort to fix things, we break things and we mess up things irreparably. So he said, we are criticizing and it's not helping. There's a way to criticize, but don't criticize too much and too hard. It might destroy. So he said the AFCON is Africa, not Cameroon. Fally is okay. That's DJ Jab.
No, like, understand this, okay? Okay, how many Cameroon artists are on the lineup to perform that day?
I don't know. I don't even know if I've made that public already.
Because most of the things, trust me,
If they
Fally can
put some
be.
Cameroonians there as supporting acts, that's good enough for me. At least they'll share that light and they'll get some exposure too. But to be the
That
main
is why
opening
I'm
act, I
saying
don't
the
think.
reason most countries chose to. Of course, Franco also headline when Kule Lapetu was booming. He did the same for the, I don't know the country. Was it Senegal? I think. I don't know. He also did it with Kule Lapetu. Malox also has done it before. But in those kind of scenarios, right? The headliners are the artists from the country, but they use artists from the countries who are participating in that event. Congo is participating, right? So Fally Ipupa, of course, they have to use them. You know, Nigerian artists, I believe there will be some Nigerian artists who will perform that day because Nigeria is performing. There'll be Egyptian artists there. There'll be South African artists. Each of those countries performing, there'll be an event where those artists will present themselves, cultures, and all these things. But the reason why a country chooses to host that event is to expose other things in the country. So they have more of their own acts on those performing things than other countries. Yeah, they may have some guys who have bigger star power than them, like bigger than them, international and all that. But the aim of that event is using the light that sport, that event bring to expose the things you have in your country. Even the
we can expose.
Even the World Cup, when it came to South Africa, most of the things used there were South African things. It was not like World Cup is an international event. You have to say you go with
Cameroonian things, the decor, but
you understand?
The headliner act should be something worth of an African weight, as I said.
It's a combination.
So we don't have any problem if some other Cameroonians will come and then perform.
The truth is, I don't know if it is only Fally who will be performing that day, because from every African nation I've been seeing or World Cup I've seen, they use a headliner from another country, pair him with somebody from the country.
Yeah, so
they always pair it. I've never seen even the one where Ziban did, I'm on top of the world. That's World Cup, right? There were other South African artists there who performed with him. Then he finished up with that song.
Yeah.
So the whole reason.
It's okay if Fally does it.
Yeah, let Fally do it. But my point is, we shouldn't forget why countries apply to host this event. That's what I'm saying.
No, of course, we'll do our best to expose or present our culture to the world, but we'll not present it in a kind of intoxicating, blatant way where even when our culture does not fit, we'll force it there just because we want to present.
No, it's not like the culture doesn't fit. I'm
not saying that in this case does not. I'm saying that we should not force it even where it's not necessary. So I think we'll do our best to present it.
Yeah, because it is presenting it to the best of your knowledge. I was
like, is it because it was friend?
No, that's one thing. By the way, it's because think about it. They should have gone. They would have gone with Burna Boy. It's because Fally said to his friend, they would have gone with somebody like a Burna Boy, or maybe they go with somebody like a Whiskey, or go with somebody like a. If you want to go with that international star power.
No, so we look at it this way, right? The English, although we English Cameroonians feel like we are part of the English Africa, but because Cameroon is majority French, we are part of more of the French Africa. The English guys have been having their shine, and that's another thing that we might have to come to too. One Ghanaian guy was ranting the other day saying that it's true, we say support your own Nigeria and support Africa, they're going ahead. But have you noticed that when Whiskey does his show in how do they call it, in the UK, he brings only Nigerians on stage. We not see one Cameroonian person there or even a South African. But he does same. So it's only but normal that we say, okay, we cannot just bring any local artists just because we want to support our own. But we'll say, okay, who are all the African level artists in both English and French Cameroon? We put them. Fally is definitely there. Arafat would have been there. Now we say, okay, these are the English artists in Africa level. These are the French artists. Preference should be given to the French artists because English artists have been having their shine in many other places. So French artists should take precedence in this time because, and Fally is. So it's not like we are doing, as we say in Pidgin, pacha, or we are just forcing things to get Fally there. Fally's at that level like the Burna Boys. So
that's what I'm saying. No, that means you haven't understood what I said. What I said is Fally is at the same level at the Whiskies, the Video Burna Boys, right? But they picked Fally, right? Don't you think the reason for Fally is closely linked to him having a relationship or friendship with Samuel Eto'o? He's easily accessible. Don't you think it's because he's easily accessible by Samuel Eto'o?
And I have no problem with that. So
of course, no, nobody's saying we have any problem with that. I'm just saying, don't you think that may be the reason too?
It's a may, as you said, it may be, of course.
Yeah, because we are talking about having yeah, we are talking about having a major superstar on the event, and we have so many major superstars. So if we have to narrow down the choices or the things that may say, okay, they picked that guy for this reason, him being having easy access to Samuel Eto'o is one of those reasons.
Possibly. Comment section again. DJ Jab, Fally will be the biggest artist, I'm sure. That is why he's the only one to made a post of him, I think. Ike Jig said, during the World Cup in South Africa, Shakira, who is a Colombian, was the headline artist. She was with Kenan, who co-headlined, but she was still the main attraction, and so by far. Yeah, so for me, I think it's okay.
That's why I said they always mix it up. You understand? They always mix it up. It's not that they just find somebody like if Fally will just come on stage and do all his songs, and for the event do all his songs.
No,
like
I think others will be there, but as
they mix it up. Ike Jigs.
Yeah, so as DJ Jab is saying, he said, but most of the flyers and the banner thing will have the main act. We cannot put everybody's passport size photograph on the whole thing. So they'll just put the main person. The others will just appear there as we see. Or maybe in some communiques or press release, they'll see their names there. There's a main act which Eto'o is sharing now. So that's why he's sharing it. It's not because of any other thing. It's just because it's the main act. It's the most attractive thing Africa-wise now that he has to share first. The rest will come and we'll discover them. Ophio and Mezu.
Okay. So
do we go into the other thing?
Yep. What
might
else?
Be related to. Yeah. So there is the issue. I don't know if the others have followed this up. The issue between actually it started from Shatta Wale insulting. Yeah, no, it started from Shatta Wale on stage. He insulted, he said F Nigerians. He went on a wild rant. The same issues we're having here in Cameroon of Nigerians are dominating and all of those things.
Yeah.
He went on a rant and said F Nigerian. Then a couple of Nigerian celebrities started responding. But for some reason, the Burna Boy case triggered him even more. It's like he had a personal relationship with Burna Boy which had broken down or so. So he went on a special rant with Burna Boy, calling him a rapist, Burna Boy also calling him a rapist and all of those things. Yeah. But the root of the matter is this issue of Nigerian dominance in Africa.
See.
Which I started touching on partly where I was like, yeah.
Yeah, because this thing is like the Shatta Wale is not wrong, right? Nigeria has because minus African countries, let's get this thing clear. Minus other African countries, Nigerian artists can still be successful in their industry because they have the numbers. That's one thing we need to be clear. So the next thing is because Nigeria already know they are comfortable and they have that market, they make it difficult for anybody else outside to penetrate or benefit from that market. So if there's a trend out of Africa, let's just say like this Amapiano or this Azonto or this other thing, if there's a trend out of Africa which is becoming cool, because Nigerians are great at branding their culture as the cool culture in Africa, as the cool thing, right? So when they feel like there's another culture in Africa coming up that is cool, Nigerians will use like one of their acts will do that same culture and make it feel like this is how you do it. This is the cool version of it. They import it back to Nigeria and lock the industry so that if the Nigerian audience need that sound or that culture, there's no reason to bring somebody from outside or the originators of that thing. They already have somebody in who can do it. It's like that song say, we're not shaking your bomb bomb on it. That they have just converted the Amapiano thing. It's just like TikTok now everywhere they are doing but the Nigerian version of Amapiano. You understand? That's how Nigeria has done it, and they have enclosed their industry, enclosed their market that way. Most times I've said this thing that when Mastercraft left UK and went back to Nigeria, he was trying to play foreign music like UK drill. They just told him, DJ, if you continue playing that nonsense, we'll pull you from down there and beat you very well. So that's how even their TV and their radio stations, they make it difficult to get spins for foreign artists to get spins in that country, even when you do a collaboration with them. You understand? So the best thing to do is grow because Shatta Wale also has done a show in a bigger stadium like the O2, but not in UK. He has done same. He's talking like this because even Flavor has also complained the same thing, that look at somebody like a Diamond Platinum. That's the most streamed African artist. But you don't hear his song anywhere in Nigeria. They don't even allow Nigerians to play his song.
Yeah.
You understand? So Shatta Wale too, he's saying this thing because he's at that magnitude. He's at that same star power. He's at that stage. So he's complaining that even though I'm here, I understand the things I did to be here. I understand how our industry is. That industry is very difficult to get into, even though I'm this massive. Maybe there may be some guys there who know me, maybe because I've rubbed shoulders or link up with some of their guys. But the way you guys see me, they don't even see me as anything in that country, which means it's difficult for me to even host a club in that country. So everything Shatta Wale is saying is true. Not only every African country has been complaining about that same thing. It's not just Ghana now. South Africa has just noticed that South Africa also has the numbers. And they have stayed with their sound. In South Africa, they play just their own music. It's difficult to hear that a foreign artist blow up in South Africa to same thing like Nigeria because their system is almost the same.
But I think the Kenyan
South Africa
guys
is even easier.
The Nigerians are blowing up in South Africa. The Kenyans and Nigerians are blowing up in South Africa.
Is because South Africa is a little bit lenient than Nigeria.
Yeah. But on the other hand, right, my own opinion with this thing is, I've always said it. What he's saying is true, but I feel like it's a waste of time. So Nigeria will always do what Nigeria does. It's in their interest.
Of course.
So on the other hand, rather than complaining, Ghanaians do what Ghanaians do. I always tell people like I'm Pan-Africanist at heart, but I will be Pan-Africanist for those who want to think Africa. Because now if I'm thinking Africa and you are thinking nationalistic, that leaves me hanging. Because when everybody has claimed their own country, I did not claim Cameroon. I was claiming Africa. Now you people claim your countries. I'm left hanging in the air because I don't have any country technically. So, and some of these things, those who have studied the art of trade war, I always say it is not by ranting online that there's any change. If any of these people have any sense in their head and they know any politician, any MP, meet those people to pass laws or try to put some policy which will at least some protectionism kind of policy. That's where the change happens. You don't even talk about it. If possible, even hide it so that people don't know that.
Yep. The truth is Nigeria don't even talk about it.
When they were
but they implement it.
Nigeria has said, they don't talk about it.
Africa is complaining because we have noticed those things that have been put in place. That's why we are complaining. We are just ranting for no reason. We are just bitter.
That talking is not, the talking does not help us. Nigerians always do what they are doing. They are progressing. And this is not the first time we're doing this thing. I remember way back when Azonto was hot. Azonto is a Ghanaian dance. But Chris Brown came and learned Azonto from Wizkid and them in Nigeria. And Ghanaians were very pissed. Like, now he's going to sell it as a Nigerian dance in some interview there in America. And Ghanaians were pissed that this is a Nigerian dance and he's going to learn from a Ghanaian dance and he's learning from a Nigerian. Because Nigerians hijacked the whole Azonto thing. Same thing with Amapiano. So, talking does not help. People should just, I say there are two things here. If the government can, where I stand, if the government can put in place policy to protect the industry, because when you are as strong as Nigeria, now they'll be negotiating you as equal. Say, my man, you come and do one concert in your country, I do one in your own country. We split the money like this, we do a collab like this. But once they have an unfair advantage, because everything is shining their side, money is in their industry, the numbers are in favor of Nigeria, then there's no way you can negotiate. You only have to take whatever they give you. But if we can also protect our own industry so that we become strong enough to be able to negotiate with them, we can look them in the eye and negotiate. If not, we take what they give us. On the other hand, as an individual, if my government cannot do any protectionism things to protect the industry, I'm going to collaborate with Nigeria. I'm going to work with them. If you cannot beat them, join them.
No,
I
the
will
truth
work
is,
with them,
no,
hoping
the
that
truth
I become
is,
strong.
understand
I can
this.
help my industry then. But
Understand
sitting and
this.
complaining and then instead alienating the Nigerian fans is not helping anybody.
The truth is, if you see somebody who is that massive or somebody who has made it to that or to that level in their career and they complain about this thing, it's because they've said, okay, my country hasn't come up with laws that will protect me or set these things in place to make my industry grow. So they've tried that. Okay, you know what? If you can't defeat them, join them. They realize that when you join them and try to collaborate with them, the audience from the other side which you're trying to join, they don't reciprocate that same acceptance that you're trying to get into. You face friction getting it.
So what is the problem? It's a constant battle. You re-strategize. You go back and then you decide to maybe I don't know what you can do again, but I just feel like complaining does not help.
Listen.
You just because what he's doing now is counterproductive, right? He's insulting Nigerians, saying F Nigeria and all of that. He has alienated a good number of Nigerians that were his fans. Secondly, now people are looking at him, not like in those kind of cold wars. They are fighting, but nobody's talking about the fight. When we are in public, we hug each other. But behind the scene, we know that we are fighting. But now you comes out to complain in public, you look now like the sore loser, and everybody's looking at you now like you are bitter. Even the Ghanaians are looking at him like this guy is bitter. Meanwhile, we all know he's saying the truth, but because he has come and then said it in public, and he has made an issue about it, he's now looking like he's bitter. To be honest too, I feel like the rest of Africa is bitter, because if you notice, there was also an uproar in Ghana when was it Burna Boy won his Grammys. There was this whole issue of why can we not win Grammys too? They don't nominate us, our people did not vote, and there was that noise in Ghana. And I'm like, because he has won Grammy, now this second wave of whiskey tour in UK, that's what is eating up some people. And they are complaining and going wild.
They are complaining
just
because
put in place the work.
Listen, they are complaining.
That level.
Some people complain because most of these guys, like, they may go for interviews and say, I love this, my guys. You know, I love Africa. I love in the Ghana. I love you. South Africa. I love you. But when they have these massive events that expose like the power they already have, do you know who they bring up to like the next generation? The people they hand over the torch to, or the people they portray, like they work with, or they love? Nigerians.
But what do the Ghanaians do? Shatta Wale will sit and be dissing the Sarkozy. When that's their biggest, I'm just giving an example, that is Sarkozy, I don't know. But that's the biggest star which all of them should have been pushing, knowing that okay, there's somebody who can break that door. It should be Sarkozy. And when Sarkozy breaks the door, he can pull up now the Stone Boys and the Shatta Wales and the rest. But instead, they're fighting among themselves and breaking down themselves. So why do you think that they should help you? On the contrary, when you see that somebody is playing this hypocrisy game with you, smile to the same with him. When he comes to Ghana, you buy all the tickets, you tear the tickets and throw under the bridge. You tell him that you are coming to sing for his show. You tell him that 1 hour before the show, you tell him that you have fever. He wants to play hypocrisy. You do the same with him. But in public, come and say, sorry, my brother, I have fever. I could not come and sing for your concert. Because you know that he too, when in Nigeria, he acts like he likes you, but he sabotages behind. So do the same rather than coming to complain and look like the sore loser. And I'm saying that if they are sure that that's what the Nigerians are doing, I'm not saying that that's what people should do. But I'm saying that if they are sure that the Nigerians are doing hypocrisy, you play the same hypocrisy behind the scene rather than coming to complain, complaining for who to who. People are enjoying their life and they're making their money. You think that they'll sympathize with you to come and help you or to do what's for
you? Okay. This whole thing, we've been talking about this Nigeria problem for how many years now? So
it always comes up. I feel like there's more money in the other industries, you will always be complaining because borderline is annoying that your neighbor is just eating. I mean, like, if you recall when Wizkid was going to Ghana to do shows with them, what do they call this our guys?
R2Bs.
This group, R2Bs, and he was looking like a small boy. You could actually see that they were like showing him around. But now Wizkid has become a level where he can pay 20 R2Bs now. Like, if you also look at the rant between what's his name, Shatta Wale and Burna Boy. He said I actually housed Burna Boy for a couple of months. Burna Boy had issues in Nigeria. He ran and came to Ghana. He housed him, Burna Boy and his mom for a while. Then Burna Boy, they had an issue about girlfriend left and right and all of that. But that shows at a point in time the Ghanaians were helping the Nigerians out. Yeah, but now they're expecting the Nigerians to return the favor because
Nigeria man say, Nigeria man say,
we're not signing contract. So
anyway.
I think even some media personalities Nigerians have said the same thing, like it's true, what Nigeria is doing is not fair.
Even Flavor said it.
Where it was
Flavor have openly said it.
Yeah,
that Nigeria has locked his industry from foreigners.
Yeah. And when one of the Nigerians was talking about it, and I looked at him, I was like, this is true though. He was like, it's true. Let's say that, okay, Africa should support Nigerians because they're Africans. Why is it that when Nigerians have the global stage, they only share it with fellow Nigerians and they don't share it with other Africans? That's why I looked at it and I was like, I've never looked at it from this point of view though. There's some sense in what this guy is saying. All the shows they do, they'll rarely bring another African. They'll rather bring an African, how do I call it, an Afro-British artist than bringing an African artist.
The reason they do that is because they want to export what Nigeria has to the country where that guy came from. Like they can bring somebody like an Ed Sheeran on stage. They want Ed Sheeran fans to watch Nigerian artists, so they can export the Nigerian content they already have to
They don't
UK.
want to export to Cameroon too.
Because Cameroon doesn't have enough light, so if they bring somebody in Cameroon, they are sharing the lamplight that the Ed Sheeran and the Wizkid have with Cameroon audience, with a Cameroon fan. So they are pushing exactly. So it's like how do they call it? Is it osmosis? That when you drop sugar, it moves from the area of lower concentration to the area of higher concentration. Exactly. So they are the bigger solution, and they don't want to mix. They don't want to take somebody who they say would instead feed off their fame. They want to feed off somebody else. That's why you can see they can bring a Chris Brown, because they'll feed off a Chris Brown. They cannot bring somebody like a Congolese or a Ghanaian.
They'll know how to show us love when it's time to come and collect our small CFA with the Malian population.
You understand? So that's how it works. That's just how it is.
No, so for me, it's not, for me, I don't even believe in talking about these things. So we're just talking about it because it comes up on the media.
Yeah, it came up. That's why we are even talking about it. I never even knew they had any problem. I don't even follow Shatta Wale that good that I would even know all these things happening. For me now, this is my mission.
I follow Cameroon.
Yeah. No, my mission now. My mission now is to focus on Cameroon, not the host in Cameroon, because I have things that I'm building in Cameroon. I want to build my own nation, my own industry in such a way that there will be no need for me to always sit and complain and talk about these other guys. That's why I'm not too focused on them.
Other people, they are good here in Cameroon.
Yeah, that's why
I am Pan-Africanist. I listen to all of these guys. I even follow their blogs. I follow their entertainment things. I am Pan-Africanist, to be honest.
If I want to watch anything out of Cameroon, this is what I do. I watch podcasts a lot, and the only kind of podcasts I listen to are comedic podcasts. It makes me laugh. That's just it. Like 85 South Show, or I can watch the Wild and Out Show. Those are the kind of things that I can watch. But I cannot go and start saying, okay, I'm Nigerian music. I'm listening to a lot of Nigerian music. To be very honest, the person I've been listening to for the past...
I know the Nigerian bloggers like Shorty. I
don't know any Nigerian blog. I knew Linda AKG in those days and Pause, because those are the old guys. But I don't know anybody again because I've not been focused, on all these things.
For me, and partly, that's what is... I feel like Nigeria knows Africa too well. That's why they're able to dominate Africa. So because the Igbo guys were going into every African country to open their small stores, they know how to distribute. When Alaba market speaks, Africa will receive, because the Igbo guys to pick it and then run into South Africa, run into Cameroon, run into this part. So if we don't know Nigeria and the rest of Africa, it will be difficult for us to, how can I call it, counter-react or play them in their game, because they are thinking Africa, meanwhile we are thinking Boya, Yaoundé, Cameroon.
But you have to think Boya, Yaoundé, Cameroon first.
Africa for a while.
No, you have to think that first before thinking about the rest. Of course.
So I am starting to build from Buea, Cameroon, but I am already thinking how that model will expand into Nairobi, Lagos, Accra, Cape Town. So I'm looking at the bigger picture while painting the nose, but I know that the head has to be this big. So this nose should be this centimeter to fit on that head, which I'm building the bigger picture. So the nose is the Buea Cameroon, but I know that in the grand scheme of things, I'm looking at the head, which is Africa. So I'm thinking Africa while starting in Cameroon.
Okay. So, yep. I think we'll call it a day today. Today's episode has been 1 hour 30 minutes. God damn.
Yeah, maybe before we call it a day, let me just read the last comment from IK Jigs. He said, and again, Nigeria. Yeah, he wrote a couple of things. What annoyed me a little bit with what Shakhtar said was that, IK Jigs, you are really also very informed. Like, you're an entertainment fan like myself here. What annoyed me a little bit with what Shakhtar said was that he rapidly forgot the influence Nigeria had in the growth of the Ghanaian movie industry. It's like Nigeria never helped anybody and then cool. That's very true too, though. Because Nigerians were collaborating a lot with Ghanaian. I knew most Ghanaian actors birthed from Nigeria. And then when they went back to Ghana and started acting, I followed and started watching Ghanaian movies now because I already knew how they call them. The
Jackie Apia.
How do they call this other guy?
Juliet Ibrahim, something like
Yvonne
Nelson.
Yeah, Ibrahim. Ibrahim, yeah. All of them, we knew them
is it Van
from
Vika? Yeah. All
Nigeria. Yeah, Van Vika too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I know
that's true what Michael Jigs is saying. In the late 2000s and early 2010s, all Nigerian movie producers gave Ghanaian actors and actresses lead roles in their movies. I know he's a musician, but Shakhtar kind of ignored that in his rant. Yeah, that's why I said, that's Shakhtar doing Shakhtar. Only Shakhtar knows what he took that afternoon before ranting like that. Okay.
No, Shakhtar is talking about music. He's not talking about movies. Say, Nigeria do.
No, but that's why he's saying you should not just forget that this also helped you in this industry, though. So it's okay if they come to eat now from you this way, if they helped you that way. They gave you a movie, they come and take the music. Although I know that, anyway, when the Nigerians were sharing these movies with these lead actors or actresses from Ghana, it was an attempt to gain the Ghanaian audience because the Ghanaians were watching their movies a lot, so they wanted to put in Ghanaians that also make the movie feel Ghanaianized, for lack of a better word. So it was a business strategy, but which was also technically helping the Ghanaian industry. So we should always just be thinking strategy. I don't see why people are complaining. That's what I wanted to end by saying. Everybody helped everybody, and everybody is still helping everybody. And again, this is the final one which I like and which I've always said. It's a capitalist world. Everybody is trying to survive their own. Yes, IKG is saying, and again, Nigeria owes nobody anything. They are just smarter in business side of it and have grown their shit to levels that are way beyond average. Simple. DJ Jav says Shakhtar is just being him. Yeah, Shakhtar is Shakhtar. Shakhtar is him. But that's Shakhtar though. Shakhtar has always had this wild rant. Behind the rant, there's some sense, but I feel like people who are more posé, as we say in French, should sit down and then come up with strategy on how to fix the situation. This ranting and insulting, calling people rapists on
the name calling doesn't help.
Not at all.
Yeah.
You are instead alienating. You are saying F Nigeria. You're not even saying F. What's his name? Particular artist.
Yeah.
And then at one point, I'm like, these guys, I don't even know if they have PR or who is advising them. The guys are going on social media and actually contesting who is a better rapist. Like Shatta Wale's tweet was like, he said, because, so Burna Boy said Shatta Wale is also a rapist. And that, because he first insulted Burna Boy that he was a rapist, or that is Melinda, he called a certain name allegedly thing. And then he went out to say, because he's a rapist, he's jealous, I did the same to his girl. So that's technically saying that he's admitting that he also raped Burna Boy's girl.
Which means Burna Boy raped his girl and he goddamn man. Oh,
no, Shakhtar. No. Burna Boy, because there's some story of Burna Boy, he had some rape charges in the UK and then ran and came to Nigeria, something like that. Some story allegedly thing. So He's saying that because Burna Boy is a rapist, he's jealous of him now
But
because he too has
Transcanal.
raped his own Burna Boy's girl. Yeah. So he's saying that Burna Boy, because Burna Boy came from South Africa with a girl apparently, and then they said that he had something to do with the girl, and then one of his guys went and betrayed him and told Burna Boy that that's what he did to Burna. He had something to do with Burna Boy's girl, and that's what broke down their relationship. Yeah. So he said raping jealousy. And yeah, it's crazy, but our entertainment industry needs to grow. There are just so many wrong things going on, which, yeah, but we'll get there.
To me, I've just decided to, you know what, Nigeria don't care and they don't focus on what is happening in Africa or what Africans think or what they say. They just focus on themselves. It's that same mindset I have. That's why I don't have all these kind of informations. I don't know these kind of things. I've just focused on, okay, Cameroon has this problem. How can I feed this one? How can I attach to this one? How can I build this one? I don't care about the blogs that I know of Nigeria, like the not just okay.coms, the Pause Niger, and the Linda Ikeji. Those are old blogs that I knew in those days when everybody was how can I put it, when the entire Africa was obsessed with African music. Like, well, I don't see my wife, you like when you listen to those songs, you always listen, you say not just okay.com on those songs when they play. You understand? You recall?
Not just okay.com.
Yeah, so they always say all those things in those days. So those are the kind of things I know now. I've decided to say, you know what? They don't give a fuck. They don't care what you guys say. They don't care what you guys think. They decide on, okay, we want our artists to do this. We want our businesses to do this. We want to sell here. We want to do here, and they work on it. You know, that's the kind of thing I decide to do. I've just decided to do now. So
everybody should just go to their drawing board and work.
Yeah, so when it gets to the point where I see myself saying, okay,
nobody owes you.
Yeah, I've gotten to a point in my in what I've built that I say, okay, I want to see if I can bring some Nigerians to partner with us, because I've already built something. They may see a point in, okay, we want to eat from that too, so we may give you a little bit, we may bring you in. Yeah, so if we keep complaining,
and have your
ranting,
clear-cut strategy on how you stand to benefit as a Cameroonian. Don't expect the Nigerians to have pity on you and then help you to have your own strategy on how you intend to benefit, because they will definitely have their strategy of how they intend to benefit. So
yeah, of course.
If you put your food on the table, to help you to eat it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so thank you, everybody. Since we are on Chakra TV, you'll be the one to take us out today.
Yep, as usual, we just say we are trying to ignite a conversation out here to get people thinking in a certain direction. We're just sharing our ideas. It's not like we are right on everything or we are wrong on everything or we know too much. We're just having a conversation, and we are hoping that this ignites conversations in smaller groups out there. And hopefully it comes out with some productive ideas or some growth. And to do this, the least or the most you can do for us is for you to like, comment, share, put it out there, tell people about it, invite people to join the group. There's going to be the link to join the WhatsApp group in which you could suggest things or make direct comments to us, and then we could take into consideration when discussing here, just so you are part of the whole process and we are all having this conversation and trying to make things happen. So it's your boy Ambassador out here. And on the other side we have
Del B and representing Molita, and we out. Thank you guys for